Thank you for coming on this special day. We welcome our veterans who have served, our veterans who are serving, and we honor and remember those who bravely died on the battlefield. One thing all these veterans have in common is they made our country proud. Thank you.
Attention, will the audience please rise?
Fifth grade, remember, listen.
Color guard and pants. Hand salute does not uniform. Please place your hand over your heart. Please remain standing for the playing of the national anthem.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose white stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the land once we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please repeat with me the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Color guard post the colors. Color guard salute the colors. Two.
morning. We are here for one very important reason, and that is to honor you, our veterans. As I introduce you, please stand and be recognized for your bravery, your courage, and your unwavering dedication to our country. Brady Bearden, U.S. Navy, 24 years. Dorsey Love, U.S. Air Force, 6 years. Charles Paulk, U.S. Army, 6 years. Robert Glass, U.S. Army, 25 and a half years. Kel Edwards, U.S. Army, 28 and a half years. Rebecca Gergrich, U.S. Air Force, 13 years. Tracy Wilmoth, U.S. Air Force, 20 years. Wade Wilmoth, U.S. Air Force, 24 years. James Greathouse, United States Marine Corps, 16 years. Brian Carroll, U.S. Navy, 4 years. Steve Allen, U.S. Army, 13 years. Dan Ward, U.S. Army, 2.5 years. Jean Langford, U.S. Air Force, 23 years. Velma Lockhart, Army, 8 years. Barbara Moore, Air Force, 15 years. David Neenan, U.S. Air Force, 30 years. Bill Wright, Army, 4 years. Gertrude Williams, Marine Corps, 11 years. Ann Avant, Air Force, 21 years. Michael Birchfield, Air Force, 8 years. Charles Clardy, Army, 7 years. Louis Flowers, Air Force, 22 years. In front of me, you will find a table. To many, it's simply a table with a place. But to many of you, it is symbolic. It's known as America's White Table. Every item on it is symbolized as a moment, a feeling, or a wish. The table honors our men and women who served in our America's armed forces. The table is round to show our everlasting devotion and concern for our fallen and missing comrades. The cloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives when answering the call to duty. The single red rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the life and the blood that was shed in their loved ones and friends who keep the faith and await the answers. The vase is tied with a ribbon, symbol of our commitment and continued determination to account for our missing. The slice of lemon on the plate is to remind us of the bitter fate of those captured and missing in a foreign land. The salt is to remind us of the tears endured by those missing and their families who will seek the answers. The white folded napkin represents our wish that the fallen men and women of the armed forces should be present today. The Bible represents the strength gained through the faith to sustain those lost from our country, founded as one nation under God. The glass is inverted to symbolize their inability to share this day with us. The chair is empty. They are not there, and will remain so until they return or are accounted for. Ronald Reagan once said, "Some people live an entire lifetime and wonder if they've ever made a difference in the world." A veteran doesn't have that problem.
In Flanders Fields by John McCrae, May 1915. In Flanders Fields the poppies blow, between the crosses roam row, that mark our places in the sky, the lark still bravely singing fly. Scotch heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from fallen cans we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if you break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders Fields.
Well, good morning. Can everybody hear me fine? My name is Wade Wilmoth. I'm a retired major for the United States Air Force, where I proudly served for 24 years. I was both an enlisted man and an officer, so they call me a Mustanger. And I was fiery and hot for the whole 24 years I was there. And I'll tell you today, if the president called me now, I'm ready to go back. I am. So, and I think that most veterans feel that same way. I want to first address the veterans that I have right here in front of me. I want to personally thank you from me to you. Part of it is because some of you came before my time. I served from 1990 to 2013. And the ones that came before me left a legacy of honor and service that inspired me as a young person to follow in your footsteps. That's what led me there. My father served, my uncle served, my grandfather served. I come from a long family of people who served. My uncle was in the Army. He was in the Korean War, and he served with the 2nd Battalion. He said, what was his saying? The second to none, first to run, I think is what he said. So that was over in Korea. My father was an Air Force guy. He did 4 years during the Vietnam era. And so when it was time for me to determine my fate and to go forth, and when I grew up and turned 18, I really had but one choice, and that was to join the service. And I loved every bit of it. So I thank you for giving me that legacy, because without our veterans, that wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have something to follow. If we didn't do days like today, then we wouldn't know. They would just fade away. We can't afford to have that. Not in this day and age, not if we want our country to withstand the test of time. We have to honor our veterans. That's why. Did y'all know that 1% of America actually serves in its service? 1%. So to give you an example of that, there's about 80 of you up here, right? 80 to 100 of you. Young lady, will you stand up? Just stand right there. Just stand up right here. That's 1%. All of you are going to benefit because of the actions of her. That means something, doesn't it? That's why veterans are special. Thank you. That's why veterans are special. And that's why we have to keep these days, honor these days, and hold these days. We really honor veterans twice a year. Today, well, Saturday, and Memorial Day. Today is meant for serving and thanking all veterans who have served. Now, who knows the origins of Veterans Day? I know my veterans do. They began as what was known as Armistice Day. And Armistice Day started at the end, well, it actually started in 1938, but its origins is from World War I. The first major conflict that the Americans had outside of America, really, was World War I. Millions of people fought. The entire world was fighting. Millions of people died. And at the end, there was a peace, because all wars do end eventually. And there was a peace. And it became effective on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour. That's why Saturday the 11th, on the 11th, this is the 11th day of the 11th month, we will celebrate Veterans Day. All right? That was supposed to be the war that ended all wars, because war is bad. Who here plays, y'all got video games? Yeah? You play some Call of Duty? Yes. I got you. I love Call of Duty. Let me tell you, that ain't war. All right? That's not war. That's a game. All right? And when you're running around shooting, you're not there. So you don't feel the fear. You're not there. You don't feel the heat. You don't suffer. You don't watch your buddies get hurt. So remember that. War is not what you see on television. War is not what you play in the video. It's real. It's hard. And it hurts. Okay? I served in 3 wars. I was in Desert Storm, I was in Iraq, and I was in Afghanistan. And I got to really do some nice things, and I got to see some really bad things. Okay? So remember, this is why. The people that you see before you wrote a check. They signed their life away, went to the service and served. They didn't have any choices of where they were going to live. They didn't have any choices of what they were going to wear. They didn't have, a lot of times, they didn't have a choice what you're going to eat. You got fed. Your work hours were determined for you, and how you managed was all pre-done. Somebody told you everything. You have no control over your entire life. How many of y'all want to grow up, know what you want to be when you grow up? All right? That's right. And you get to determine that, right? All right? That's because of the people here. All right? I've been all over this world. I have seen places where everything is done. Y'all get to go home and you get to watch television. Y'all get to go home and play your video games. For a lot of places in the world, little kids like you don't get to do that. They have to go home and worry that somebody's going to kick in their door and take their mom or dad away that day. It's true. It's true. So, when we talk about things, we talk about why veterans are so important, because they keep that from happening here. Okay? America is the greatest country that has ever existed on the planet. And so long as we have brave men and women that will stand up and defend our principles and our way of life, no one can take that away from us. You're all going to grow up and you're all going to have to make a choice one day in your life of what you're going to be and who you're going to do. What is it that you're going to make a difference in? Some of you will be veterans, I'm sure of it. There's a legacy here of veterans that's strong in this community. Some of you will join and serve. Hopefully Air Force. That's me. But if that's not your route, serve anyway. Serve a veteran. Serve your community. Serve your government. Make a difference. Be a part of it. It is unique. Everybody in the world wants to be an American. You were blessed to be born here. Trust me. And my friends out here will tell you that's the truth. God smiled on you when He let you be born here in this country. Now you have to defend it, because we are always being, every day, there's an onslaught. People hate us because of the freedoms that we preserve, not only for ourselves, but around the world. And there are people out there who want to control their entire population with fear, power. And we take that away from them. But we want everybody to live like we live. Understand? Y'all understand? Okay. So today, when you see these people and we stand up and we walk around, I want you to thank them. I want you to walk up to their hand and I want you to reach out and say thank you. Thank you for serving. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for helping us. Because without you, we couldn't live the way we are. God bless everyone. Thanks.
Today is the day we honor the noble and the brave, the men and women who dedicated their lives and the sacrifices they have made. When America had an urgent need, they were the first to raise their hand. Without thinking twice about it, they were proud to take a stand. Some came back from war with battle scars, other flag-draped coffins. Even though their flesh may have left, their spirits will never be forgotten. They unselfishly and nobly put their lives on the line. So when you see a veteran, thank them, because without them, freedom would have died.
Let their homes and families to the Who are these? Our veterans, men and women of valor, brave, courageous, and strong.
Who are these? Our veterans, men and women, eager to serve their country and fellow men.
Who are these? Our veterans, men and women trained in the rigorous skills of defense.
Who are these? Our veterans, men and women engaged in the continuous mission of peace.
Who are these? Our veterans, men and women who rally behind their commander-in-chief.
Who are these? Our veterans, men and women whose allegiance to their country is steadfast, unwavering. Who are these? Our veterans, men and women of noble, honorable.
Who are these? Our veterans, men and women sacrificing comforts of home and yes, many sacrificing their very lives that we may remain free.
To all of our veterans, we honor all those who answered a service call. To young and old soldiers that fought for freedom, thank you for taking this time to come to our performance. To all of our guests for helping us make this happen and honor our veterans, thank you. To Mr. Wilsmith for being our guest speaker and part of this, thank you. To our Cub Scouts, Pack 25, for presenting our flags to honor our veterans. Thank you. Attention. Amen. Will the eyes please rise? Colors, salute the colors. Color guard, retire the colors. 2. Color guard, retire the colors. And salute those in uniform. Please place your hand over your heart. Two.